All right. This is Eddie Augustin for Filmmakers on Filmmaking, and this week on the podcast we'll touch upon foreign films. So let's go. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? This is Eddie Augustin. I'm back on the podcast. Welcome, everyone. So good to see you. So good to talk to you. So I'm back for week 2, episode 2 of the podcast. I'm pretty happy. Things are going well. I'm happy that we're back. Right next week, it's really cool that we're gonna try to keep it consistent. We're gonna try to consistently upload episodes every week. Now it's pretty late. It's 10 p.m. at the moment. 10 p.m. And yeah, it was a pretty crazy week since last episode. Actually, it was pretty crazy. A lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. I was in pre-production. Actually, I was in post-production on a short film that I've directed last week, and just a small project. Just trying to keep the creative juice going and try to keep the productivity on high level. And you have to keep working out at the muscle, because if you don't, then it starts fading away and the creativity starts going down. So you just try to keep creative. That's something that's important to me. I try to keep creative, and I try to keep making new projects and everything. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited. I have a lot of good stuff coming up. A lot of good stuff, like podcast wise. I have a lot of good stuff coming up. Planning. I told you guys that we were gonna start having a lot of interviews, and we were gonna start having guests coming in, talk to a bunch of my friends. They're really excited. Shout out to Stephanie. What's up, Stephanie? Stephanie, actress, which will be one of our upcoming guests that will come and bless her with her infinite pool of knowledge. That should be pretty interesting. That should be pretty good. Well, it's not really going to be interviews. I don't like calling them interviews. I rather call them conversations. So, we'll have a conversation, and, she might ask me questions. I'm going to ask her questions about her process, how she goes about finding roles, how does she see the craft, how does she sees it down the road. So we'll just talk. If you guys have questions, make sure that you guys send them to me. Make sure that you guys submit those questions at filmmakers on filmmaking at gmail.com. Make sure you submit those questions so I can ask Stephanie. You can also tweet at me. You know how it is, Eddie Filmmakers. Actually, Eddie Filmmaker, not Eddie Filmmakers. No S at the end. Eddie Filmmaker on Twitter. You can just tweet at me, and I'll check it out, and I'll ask you questions that you guys asked me. I'm pretty excited for the show today. Pretty excited. It's gonna be a good time. I think I really wanted to do this. I had a couple things I was asking I was contemplating on covering this episode, either doing some interviews, well, conversations, either that or covering a bunch of other things that I had in mind. But right at the last minute, inspiration came through, and I decided on what would be the topic for this week. It's something that's very important to me, something that I really believe in, and it's indie. Well, it's not just indie films. Not necessarily. No, indie films is not the right term. Foreign films. It's very important for me, and it's something that's very that I talk about a lot, and I think everyone should be checking them out. Not just film people, but anyone that loves movies and enjoys movies should be checking out foreign films. And I think sometimes it's a shame because the fact that the foreign languages, subtitles, and these type of things, a lot of people have a hard time with them. But it's something that you gotta get used to, especially when you love cinema. I think checking out foreign films is something that you just gotta get used to reading the subtitles, basically, and eventually it just becomes second nature, and you start enjoying this. It's kind of a different process than just watching a film in your own, like in your own language, your native language, or a language that you're comfortable with. And also, I think that it's something that's very rewarding to just see other stuff that is not from around you. Something that's from like a completely other country, another completely different culture, completely different language, with people that live different sort of lifestyles than you are, because they're living in a different, sort of a different world in itself. And it's so fulfilling to just check out these films and learn from watching these movies about how other people live their lives and how they express themselves through art, and how they're able to even transcend beyond the language barrier and the cultural barriers, and just share their information, share what they're going through, and share the information. It's pretty cool. So it was important for me to, and I'll be doing that a lot. If you're checking this out from YouTube, you can check it out. Just Google filmmakers on filmmaking. Well, I think you can find it actually at www.youtube.com/filmmakers on filmmaking. I think you can find the channel. You check out episode 2, which will be entitled Foreign Films, or Foreign Films Love. I'm not sure. I didn't make up my mind yet. I'll see later on, but it should be Foreign Film something. But if you check it out on YouTube, I'll try to prioritize this week foreign film, and have more foreign film trailers going while I'm whatever I'm saying on this on the podcast. So thank you for coming up, and what I'll do is I'm going to go down the top 10 of my favorite foreign films that I could think of. It's going to be pretty interesting, and I gotta admit, a lot of these are from Asian cinema, so it could have always almost been top 10 Asian cinema films list or something. But yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. So I just really love Asian cinema. We'll cover it another time for sure, maybe with some guests or whatever. So for now, we have no guest. It's just me and you. We'll go down the top 10 list of foreign film that I have, and you must check out, and you must let me know what you thought about them. You know what? If you listen to the podcast, I give you a challenge, and the challenge is check out at least 2 or 3 of these foreign films at the same time. Important. Don't you try to don't I don't want you to just go online and just Google it and just download it off the internet or of Google, and just like basically, quote unquote, steal the movie. I would like you to actually, I don't know, check it out. Try to go on a hunt. Try to go see at your local video store, if you still have one of these. If you can find that film, try to check out on iTunes. Try to check it out on Netflix. Try to see if you can find it. Just try to challenge yourself to actually find it, and like put some money in these guys' pockets. It's not just about, a lot of times I hear the excuse, oh well, they're already rich, so they don't need my money, whatever. So that's not the way it works. Like in actuality, when you support a film, you're not just supporting the producer that might be rich or whatnot, or the big studio, but you're supporting also the craft service that cooked meals for the crew, or you're supporting the cameraman, or you're supporting the assistant director. Or these people are not rich, these people are people that are passionate by film, and that's what they do. It's important, so that's why I think it's important to support not just indie films, but films in general. Support films and support movies. So try to check it out and try to see if you can purchase it or buy it or rent it or stream it legally or whatever. But that's just my advice. Then you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do. I can tell you what to do, but that's what I do. I try to support movies. So let's start. So my first and my second, I put them together in the category the raid. That's my top 10. That's my number 10, basically. I love The Raid. I really loved it. A little bit of info about The Raid. The Raid is directed by Gareth Evans. It's actually an Indonesian film. Indonesian cinema is pretty interesting and it's pretty crazy. It's really coming out the left field, and it's slowly but surely they're giving us a lot of good stuff, a lot of good material. And Garrett Evans, if I'm not mistaken, is from Europe, and he started making these movies over there. And a few years ago, a few years before The Raid, actually, action films mostly, action films solely, I think, but it's pretty crazy stuff. And The Raid, I put them together in a category because I feel like it's a continuous film. The second one pretty much more or less starts off right after the first one ends, and it's insane. It's really crazy, and I really enjoyed it. And these movies are not big budgeted. They're not big budget films. I think the first and the second one, I think individually were 1 million each, or more or less, whatever, 1.3 or whatnot. And it's really crazy, and the action sequences are just breathtaking in them. It's just a hoot, and it's action sequences like I haven't, I don't think I've ever seen action sequences like that. Ong Bak came kind of close. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's very different from a lot of the other action sequences that I've seen, whether they are like more Chinese martial art movies or even Japanese martial art movies or whatever. But it's a different sort of action that Garrett's been able to infuse in these movies. It's really a spectacle to watch, but also I found that the cinematography was really impressive, really extraordinary cinematography for what they had, for the budget that they had. And the second one, the Raid 2, has some amazing locations, amazing colors, and it's kind of grandiose. Like the this how much they were able to expand from the first story. And I'm not I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but the second one, you'll see that car chase scene with the camera just going all around cars, inside cars, going over cars. Just tell yourself that this was mostly not special effects camera, but actual camera being passed around. You can check out the making of that, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But it's really crazy and it's really interesting. And yeah, The Raid, I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. So what's next on the list? My number 9. Oh yeah, that's one that I really love. It's called Certified Copy. In French, it's Copie Conforme. I'm gonna murder the director's name, but I'll try my best. His name is Abbas Kiarostami. Insane. I don't know how much I murdered it, but yeah, I did my best. But this director is really interesting because this guy, what he does is basically more or less he travels around the world and he makes these foreign language movies. And a lot of times it's in language that he himself doesn't even speak, I think. But a lot of people consider him a master director. He's done this one, and another one that's very reputable is coming down later on in my list. But yeah, it's definitely a guy that you need to check out, and it's definitely a guy that you need to pay attention to. And these movies will just open up new parts of your I don't know whether you're a film fan or whether you're creative. It's just gonna open up new parts in your brain, in your mind, and make you see things in the ways that you've never thought you would see them before. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, this movie was released in 2010 actually, and it's a French movie, but since the director that I named before, Abbas, is from Iran, it's a French and Iranian co-production, and it was pretty cool. It was written by him. That's important to know. He wrote it himself. The movie is starring Juliette Binoche and William Chimel, and it's in French, which I speak. So, well, which I speak sometimes better than other times, but I understand it pretty. I understand it pretty well, and that was fun because I'm able to watch it and I don't have to read the subtitle and I could just enjoy it. But his style of filmmaking is just incredible because this guy basically what he does is that in this movie, it's really basically the story of these two guys, like the girl, like this woman and this man, and they kind of meet, but you're actually not sure if they met for the first time or if they met each other before, but you just go along for the ride and you just follow them and you try to see, do they know each other or do they not know each other, and they go into these long fascinating comments about art creation, and what does it mean to copy art. Is that also art or is that just copying? Is that discredited since it's a copy from an original? And through that they talking about, and through that we is reflected the actual situation. It's fascinating the way it was put together, and it's fascinating the way it was written, and it's fascinating that this movie is able to retain your attention the way it does and just grab you. And even though there's no huge set pieces of action and explosion and whatever, it's just the characters that are just taking you in and just grabbing you and not letting you go until the credit rolls. It's amazing. It's an exercise for everyone that is looking to do a low budget feature film, very low budget, like no budget feature film, how they can just do it without a huge budget, just with good actors, good writing. It's incredible. All right, so that's my number 9. All right. After that, let's see what we got. All right, so my next one that I have is very different from the other one. It's called Ichi the Killer. It's a Japanese movie. This one is a horror film. Insane. It was directed by another master director called Takashi Miki. I don't know if you know him, but he's a master director. He's amazing. He's done all these amazing Japanese movies. Notably, he's done one that was kind of recent, which was 13 Assassin, sort of a samurai movie kind of thing, period Japanese piece. Crazy movie, crazy. But this one, this director, he also done another one that was called The Audition, which was also amazing. But this movie is basically one of the hardest movie you'll ever watch in your life. Like the violence in this movie, like there's anything you could possibly imagine in this movie. There's just there's just everything you could imagine, and it's really tough to watch. And but the way he did it, he managed to do it that if you have, I don't know, if you're used to watching horror movies and you're used to watching these sort of films, you're able to watch it and it's not overwhelmingly, like, even though it's really violent, like it's twisted to say, but there's a sense of fun infused in the movie, like those classic horror films that they're violent, but they still remain like kind of fun. It's not serious violence. It's violence done with like a tongue-in-cheek type of thing, and yeah, it's incredible. The story is about, it's kind of like a Japanese horror superhero movies. I'm not even gonna get into the story, but yeah, it's something. If you're able to watch horror films and you're the type of guy that watch Saw and these type of things, then I think you'll be able to check out this one. And I think it's very interesting to watch a film that's a foreign movie and a horror film, because you see different things and different styles of horror and how they bring it and how they pass it on and everything. It's very special. So yeah, I recommend it if you guys are into that type of stuff. It's a challenge. Good luck. After that, now next, The Legend. The Legend is a martial art movie. It's a martial art movie that's starring Jet Li. This one basically, it was it was released back in actually no, it was released a long time ago, back in 1993 actually. It's in Cantonese. It's a Hong Kong film. This movie is amazing. It's one of my favorite martial art movies of all time, hands down. And it's the story basically. There's a lot of these sort of movies. It's a very historic sort of film with it's a mythological hero that's very popular in Chinese history and Chinese culture, and it's something to watch. The action sequences are absolutely insane and they're absolutely breathtaking. And basically, it's the story of Fong Sai-yuk. That's the name of the character. It's a mythological and historical martial artist, and he's also been credited for being one of the inventors of Ongar, which is a style of kung fu, Shaolin kung fu. And yeah, it's the action, the fighting sequences, the dialogue, the way the dialogue is, the way the acting is completely incredible and breathtaking, and you just get riveted into the action and you just sink into it. It's incredible. I don't know if you've ever watched the foreign martial art movies, but yeah, if you haven't, this would be a definite go to as a first one to check out for sure. Now I'm going to Japan with Shogun Assassin. It was directed by Huston. Robert Huston. Oh my god, I'm messing up the name. Robert Houston. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. It's a bit late and it shows. So, yeah, the name of the movie is Shogun Assassin. I repeat it again. And it's based on the Lone Wolf and the Cub. It's a book slash comic slash manga that's Japanese, and that was very successful. And they decided to pick it up, and they decided to put it out and to make movies about them. I think there's 5 or 6 movies. I have all of them, but the best one by far is really the first one. I watched all of them and I enjoyed all of them. Don't get me wrong, but the best one for sure is the first one. It's an oldie. I try to keep it more contemporary because I didn't want to go into like the old foreign movie. I'm like, okay, we'll just keep the distance but not the time. So I was trying to keep it actual, but I had to name it since it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It was done in 1980, exactly. Yeah, it released in 1980. It's a long time ago, and I'm sure a lot of you guys weren't even born, but it's incredible. And it was written by Bobby Houston, and it was filmed in Japan. One of the most iconic samurai movie. Basically, it's about a guy that his entire family is slaughtered, except for his son. Basically, they came in and they tried to kill his entire family, but he was able to escape his house with his son, which is a baby, but they murdered his wife. And basically, he goes after revenge, and he becomes well. Basically, he was a shogun killer. He was an assassin that was hired and that went after shoguns to kill them. And after that, he just leaves, and he just goes around Japan killing people with his son, which is a baby, like 1 year old or something. It's pretty crazy. But this one is not too violent. This one is not very, very violent. There is blood, the classic samurai Japanese blood splash and stuff like that, like the arm being cut off and stuff like that. But it's nothing compared to Ichi the Killer. It's just the classic samurai action sort of violence, and the focus is not on that neither. It's very interesting and it's very well done, and it's a classic. If you like these sort of movies, you should definitely check it out. Definitely. Now we're going to something else. Another one of my favorite movies. It's Heroes. Actually, it's Hero. This is another one with Jet Li, and this one is just incredible. It's just incredible. It was directed by Zhang Yimou, which is another master director from China, and he's done a lot of classic movies. He's the one that was behind what's the name of that again? Curse of the Golden Flower, I think. Yeah, it was that Curse of the Golden Flower, and then there was another one called House of the Flying Dagger. House of the Flying Dagger is just breathtaking. What this director does with color and lighting and just cinematography in itself. He's from a painting background, and he has a lot of knowledge in painting. And I think, if I remember correctly, also he used to be an art director a long time ago, before he graduated to being a director. But yeah, it's really shows with what this guy does with colors, and at the same time, it's the action in it that's just incredible. It's just breathtaking, and also he co-writes often his movies. He co-wrote this one with other writers, and the result is just one of the most incredible foreign language movie you'll ever watch in your life. I think that this movie, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think that this movie is actually the number one grossing foreign language subtitled movie of all time, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's incredible. It's just incredible and beautiful. I really recommend you guys checking it out. After that, that's I'm telling you, this one is really an incredible. This is now we're at number 3, so we'll go back down the list. Number 10 was the Raid 1 and 2. Number 9 was Copie Conforme, certified copy in English. Number 8. Oh, I skipped over number 8. Oh, whoa. I'll go back to that. Number 7 was Ichi the Killer. Number 6 was The Legend. Number 5 was Shogun Assassin. Number 4 was Hero. And now we're at number 3. But we'll go back to number 8, which was Like Someone in Love. This movie is just... Oh my god, this movie is... I don't even know how to describe this movie. This movie is just... This movie is another feat. This movie is another feat of a movie that's not so... In theory, this sort of movie is the sort of movie that most film professors and most film... a lot of people that claim they know movies will tell you could never work. But it's just, I can't tell you how much success this movie actually experienced, but I can tell you that I enjoyed this movie insanely. And every time I talk about it, every single time I talk about it, I just want to go back and watch it. I just want to go back and check it out because it's just so compelling. Basically, it's the story. I have to be really careful not to spoil anything. It's the story of a prostitute that's invited over to a client's house, and the client is a very old gentleman, and you don't this sort of and you see him and the way he talks and everything. It's so far gone from the cliched John that we have in these sort of movies. It's so detached to what we normally see, and the two of them start developing this sort of relationship ish, but not relationship. But whatever I'm telling you right now, all these cliches are coming through your mind. But I can only tell you that it's not at all what you imagine. Like at all, it's not at all what you imagine. What it sounds like, as I'm telling you, it's so detached from that. By the way, by the way, this movie was also done by the Iranian director that I told you about, Abba Kiarostami, and yeah, this one takes place in Japan, and you see the Japan's like scenery over there, and the city, and the concrete, and it's just unbelievable, and it's just breathtaking. And the lead girl in this movie was incredible, incredible. The movie is in Japanese, but you relate to it and you understand, and you get I just got sucked into the story even before I knew there was even a story. Because one thing that this director likes doing is he likes to have very slow scenes with very interesting context and very interesting circumstances. But when something happens, like maybe let's say someone gets mad and starts screaming, he's going to turn the camera the opposite direction, so we won't see that person getting mad. We'll see the reaction of the person that is getting screamed at. It's 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 just incredible. I've Before seeing his movies, I've never seen anything like that. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. Like Someone in Love, check it out. By the way, I think you can find this one on Netflix. I'm not sure 100% if it's still there, but last I checked, you could find this one on Netflix. So yeah. All right. So my number three is Lost Caution. Lost Caution is just an incredible, beautiful, artful, breathtaking, and heart wrenching movie. It was done by the master himself, Eng Lee, also known for masterpieces such as Brokeback Mountain, such as Life of Pi, such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, masterpieces. Well, I think this was his breakout film, and it's a Chinese movie actually. Is it in Cantonese or is it in Mandarin? It's in Mandarin, and it was done in 2007. It was, and when it came out, oh my God, let's say that the movie caused a pretty crazy shitstorm, and it was a very controversial film, and it's hard to watch for different reasons than Ichi the Killer, but nevertheless, it's still hard to watch. There's some tough scenes. Mm, there's some hard moments in this movie. It's not for kids, definitely not for kids. And basically, it's a story about it's kind of an espionage thriller, and it takes place in 1979, I think. Is it 1970? No. Wait. It takes place in 1938, in the 1940s, around that part, because it stretches through time a lot. And basically, it's a film about the government and a group of kids that come together and try to stir a revolution and you ask yourself, where will they actually draw the line, and when will they actually say this is going too far? I'm trying to really remain spoiler free. Like, you can check out the Wikipedia page or the IMDb and you'll get a lot more spoilers than what I'm telling you. But I just want you guys to just come in and just check out these movies and just start fresh, not knowing anything about it at all, and just checking it out fresh. I think these were the best times when you just popped a Blu-ray into your Blu-ray reader, whatever, your DVD reader, your DVD player, whatever, and you just checked it out, not knowing what the movie was about. And sometimes it was horrible, sometimes it was great, but it was just the best time, you know. All right. After that, we got Old Boy, Old Boy 2003, incredible movie. The director is Park Chan Wook, and he's a very acclaimed director till this day. Many hit movies. Another one that you should check out is called Thirst, a vampire movie. Crazy, but this one is about this guy that gets locked into a room for 15 years and he doesn't know why, or I think he doesn't even remember how he got locked into this room, but he just got locked and he finds his way out, and it just goes on a crazy violent revenge journey to find who's responsible for putting him in that room for 15 years. Can you imagine this? 15 years being locked away in a room. Can you imagine that? That's insane. That's crazy. But yeah, it's incredible. They did a remake of that, by the way. And like I told you, I don't critique and I don't review. I just, I'm now we're talking about movies, but I'm not giving you reviews. I'm just telling you. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a review. I'm just talking. They did a remake, an American one. Yeah, watch this movie. Watch this one. Watch the 2003 one, the Korean one. All right, just check this one out. It's gonna blow your mind. And if you didn't know this director before, you might become a fan, and you might want to go check out all the other stuff that he's done after that, and even before that, because this is part of a trilogy about vengeance. The first one was called No Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, I think. Yeah, I think it was called No Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Mr. Vengeance, yeah. No Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Well, anyways, check it out and let me know what it was. That was one of them. No Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Yeah. And then after that, he did Old Boy. And then the one after that was Lady Vengeance. I loved all of them. I loved all of them. They were all good. Lady Vengeance is pretty cool also. Very cinematic the way it's filmed. And yeah, I love this movie. But Old Boy, it's definitely one to watch. If you really want to get into it and you want to really explore, start with the first one. Start with watching No Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. And then after, I have to check. I have to check what this was the actual title, just to be sure. No Sympathy. For maybe was that not that? Oh, wait, let's see. Actually, it's called the Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Not No Sympathy, but Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. I was pretty close. So yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. Do yourself a favor. That was my number two, Old Boy. And finally, my number one. My number one, drum roll. It's a Korean film. It was done in 2001. It also had a remake. Just watch the one that was done in 2001. Watch the one that's the Korean original film. It's a love story. Some would call it a chick No, I'm not even gonna call it a chick flick. I'm not even gonna go there. It's a love story. It's called My Sassy Girl. It's incredible, incredible, incredible. If you ever go on a date, if you ever if no, you not go on a date, but I mean, if you want to have an evening with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you know he or she likes movies, and or maybe try to push him to watch a foreign movie, or try to be like, you know what, baby, we're gonna do something special tonight. We're gonna do something original. We're gonna watch a foreign movie. It's a bit like traveling. Pop My Sassy Girl in, check it out, and just get ready to laugh. Just get ready to cry. Just get ready to feel, and just get ready to get your mind completely blown apart. Basically, it's the love story between a guy and a girl, and the girl is just really hard to get along with, and really hard to. She does these things that kind of tend to like ruin. Like, she does these things that the guy at first kind of seems to like find cute at a certain moment, but then it gets too much for him to handle, and they just yeah, it's just a love story like you might have never seen it before, and it just plays out in a way, and it just it just develops and grows into something you don't know where it's going, you don't get where it's going, and it just surprises you and goes out of left field. And I think I've watched this movie like maybe 15, 20 times, and I want to watch it right now actually. It's just incredible. It put on the map one of the biggest Korean star, one of the biggest Korean actresses that's out there right now. Man, what was her name? I need to remember her name, and I don't want to destroy her name. Yeah, it was Jun Ji Hyun. Jun Ji Hyun. Jun Ji Hyun. I think that's what you say. That was the leading lady, and the leading male was Cha Tae Hyun. Cha Tae Hyun. The chemistry between the two of them, oh my god, it's incredible. The chemistry between the two of them, and it's also a comedy. It's very comedic, very funny, and it's a humor that you're not used to if you're not used to watching Korean movies, and you're not used to watching Korean TV shows and whatever. But it's just incredible. So that's my number one position. Definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. Let me go down the list once again. Number 10 was The Raid 1 and 2. Number 9 was Copie Conforme, or Certified Copy in English. Number 8 was Like Someone in Love. Number 7 was Itchy the Killer. Number 6 was The Legend from with Jet Li. Number 7 was Shogun Assassin. Is that it? No, actually, that's number one, two, three, four, five, six. That's number 6 was Shogun Assassin. Number 5 was Hero. Number 4, Lost Caution. Actually, I'm mixing it up. Number 3, Lost Caution. It's a top 10. All right, it goes down, 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 Eddie. Number 3, Lost Caution. Number 2, Old Boy, and number 1, My Sassy Girl. Definitely check it out. I think one of the reasons also why I love watching foreign film is, maybe you don't have time, the money, maybe you don't have time to travel and to really go around the world like you wish you would and see what's going on and everything. And for $3 or $4 or $5, you get to see another country, and you get to experience and spend an hour and a half or 2 hours with people from another country, another culture as you, and you just get to discover new things and see new things. It's like traveling from you with your in your living room, and it's not just going on the internet and googling whatever France or Korea or China or whatever. It's a slice of life. It's a story from another place that you get to see and hear, and it's almost like you can smell the air over there, and it's really a fun time. I really recommend that you take the time and like try to restrain the number of Hollywood movies that you watch. Nothing against Hollywood movies, but just saying that, just recommending that you don't only watch movies from only one place, and try to expand your area of movies that you watch or whatever. But I mean, if what you love is Hollywood movies and that's all you like and that's all you enjoy and that's the only all you want to see, then by all means, that's your prerogative and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just recommend, try it. Try to check it out. Give yourself a few. Okay, I'm gonna check out this one and see how I feel. And I'm gonna check out this one and this one, see how I feel. Give yourself a chance and try to explore it and see if you like it. See if it's for you. If it's not, then you can just go back and just go and check out these other, these Hollywood movies that I love too and that I watch all the time too. I'm just saying to give it a shot, but that was it for this week. As always, I ask you, follow me in social media. Follow me on social media, Twitter, Eddie Filmmaker, Instagram, Eddie Filmmaker. I also have a website. I didn't tell you about the website that I have last week, I think. My website is filmsbyed.com. So that's films by ed. Ed basically is just ed, filmsbyed.com. Please, if you're checking this out on YouTube, go over to iTunes and try to search for Filmmakers on Filmmaking. Find the podcast and just subscribe to it or give it a rating, give it a comment. That would help me out a lot. Just go and check it out on iTunes, and then you can check it out and then you can continue watching it from YouTube and checking out the trailers and whatnot. That's perfectly cool. As I said, I also have Periscope. You can check it out. Same handle as Twitter, Eddie Filmmaker. You can find it right there. You can send me your questions or comments or suggestions at filmmakersonfilmmaking at gmail.com. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want me to talk about, show ideas, things you'd like me to cover in future episodes. But I will really make sure and try my best that the few upcoming episodes would be me speaking with another either filmmaker or an actress or an actor or a cinematographer or whatnot, and talking movies and bringing you a different perspective also. So thank you for spending an hour with me. And I hope you will be checking out those films. If you do, please let me know. Let me know what you thought about them. Feel free to give me your review. I would love to hear it. Me, I'm just sending love letters and telling you about these movies. But if you want to review them and send it to me, feel free to do it. I'd love to read it. So I will talk to you next Monday, and I wish you a beautiful week. And until then, support indie films, but also support film. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. See you later. Bye-bye.